We are going to go to our last presentation for this afternoon, and it is entitled Connected Solutions. We're going to look at digital traceability, I mentioned it earlier, and the power of the product passport. So Circularise is a specialized product traceability platform for data management, and LYB has collaborated with them to pilot a DPP, or digital product passport. And they've done this in partnership with several industry players, but one in particular is the luggage manufacturer and retailer Samsonite. So this DPP offers many insights into a product's makeup and its environmental footprint, obviously helping stakeholders to then make a decision about how they can reduce their Scope 3 emissions, pardon me. So to learn more about this, I'd like you to put your hands together and welcome Pauline Koslowski. She is the Vice President of Research, Innovation and Development from Samsonite. So she's here with us. And joining her in this will be Mesbah Sabur. He's also, come on right up at this point. These are tandem presentations. Come on up. He's the founder of Circularise, so the platform that was actually looking after that. And they're going to tell us more about their case study with Samsonite. So take it away, guys. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Hi, everyone. And thank you already for this amazing day. It's been great hearing all the previous presentations. I'm just going to kick it off with a little bit of history lesson. I think, personally, if you want to know what the future is holding for us, often kind of looking back at history teaches you a lot. So what I always like to start with in these conversations, and it's just the title slide, is this picture, which I really like. Who knows what this is? Any idea? No, it's not a brand, it's multiple. I don't even know, maybe there's one brand, multiple. This is food from the 70s. This is food packaging from kind of early days. Oh yeah. Some of them are still the exact same thing. But the idea that I want to bring into your head is that back at the day, 60s, 70s, packaging did not have the information that we have today when it comes to nutritional facts. And this issue was started to kind of become popular even before the First World War. And it took roughly 90 years for nutritional facts labeling to become a thing. Started in the US, and then very quickly it became a kind of global thing that no matter where you are, if you buy food, you at least can expect some basic labeling. Facts labeling of this is what's in there, this is what's not in there. And when you talk about digital product passports, we would love to kind of make that analogy. So previously food wasn't labeled, and now it is. But what did this mean? Because when this first got kind of introduced, there was a lot of pushback. It was like, okay, consumers are not going to care. They don't understand. This is just for the experts, blah, blah, blah. How long do you guys think it took for the first kind of digital influencer to start talking about these things? Any idea? This was introduced in 1990, 35 years ago. The first digital influencer who started talking about nutritional facts labeling for those who cared. 4 years, 1994. That's the first kind of, as far as my research with ChatGPT has gotten me, that's the first time we can identify groups of people online coming together talking about these things. Because these are, remember, facts. It doesn't say you have to do this or that. So consumers now are presented with the facts, they have the knowledge, and they can then act on it. Doesn't mean everybody's eating perfectly healthy. We don't even know what healthy eating means. Just as we don't even know what actual environmental friendly products exactly means. But presenting the facts allows consumers to come together, at least those who care, and start talking and debating these things. And maybe what we thought was healthy 10 years ago is changing today, and that's okay. And the same thing, that's exactly what we're seeing with the advent of digital product passports. Brands are making all kinds of statements right now, just as they did on their food packaging decades ago, which is not coming with any kind of uniform facts of data. And with digital product passports, that's about to be changed. So who you of you have heard of digital product passports or kind of know that they're kind of on their radar? Quite some people, right? So that's kind of how we love to think about these things. It's not going to immediately change how consumers are going to buy stuff, but it will give the opportunity to those consumers who care to start thinking about environmental facts about their products and start educating themselves about these things. Because if you talk about scope 3 or recycled or post-consumer or pre-consumer, like not even everybody in this room probably knows all of these terms. Like imagine then going through the general consumer. That takes time. And that I predict, and I'm willing to take a bet on anybody who's up for it, that the first digital influencers talking about digital product passports will be way less than 4 years after its standardization advent. And it's going to be mandatory for batteries in 2027. And by 2030, the Commission expects most of product groups to already have a very strong roadmap of mandatory product labeling with strong data points around environmental facts. So there is a lot of kind of benefits to having these things, not just obviously for consumer information, but also for making consumers more loyal because you get a touch point as a brand to consumers and can kind of get to experience that. And you can, of course, use this for end-of-life purposes, and that's also a big part of the ESPR and digital passport regulation is that data not only informing consumers, but also the end of life, like a recycling or repair or whatever product, kind of end of life cycle solutions you go through, which means the data of the passport is different depending on who is scanning the data. And I don't want to go into these kind of details because I think Lucy did an amazing job showing you what the consumers say versus what they do and how to kind of get them to do more. But the trend is clear. And I just wanted to make sure that it's important to understand that these things are not developed overnight from an organizational perspective. The first time we started piloting this with LyondellBasell as well as Samsonite was as early as 2022, where we built our first prototypes. And it took a couple of years to really get to where we are now. So you don't kind of get to these things overnight. We have the examples here just down the hall, so you can scan it, etc. And before we go into that, I would love to hand it over to Pauline to talk about more of the actual products and digital passports that we have launched here.
Thank you, Mesbah. So I will tell you a little bit more about how the journey went with Samsonite together with Circularise and LyondellBasell. So in 2022, we started just exploring. We said, okay, we focus on the shell itself. That's reasonable. The material is coming from LyondellBasell. We can trust them. It's just an exercise like internally. Then we said, this is going smooth, let's look at the full suitcase. So we took a suitcase that we make in our own factory, we took a suitcase that we make at third-party manufacturing, and we started to trace all the parts of it. And we managed to do that in 2024. Then we said, okay, now it's time to communicate on it. But it's important, I think, that you realize, as Mesbah said, the stepwise approach. You gradually increase the scope, you involve more partners, and in that way you build up some learnings and you can start communicating on it when you are ready for it. Because that was what we wanted to do in 2025. Are we there yet? Definitely not from our point of view. There's still a lot of improvements to do, and also a lot of potential for the future. But before we talk about the digital product passport, I want to talk about the product, of course, itself. So we're talking about 2 limited editions that have been launched actually only a week ago. One produced in our Belgian factory, one produced in our factory in Hungary. And we really pushed the boundaries in terms of maximizing the use of recycled content, but without compromising, obviously, on the Samsonite DNA, which is quality and performance. So keeping that in mind. Talking about Essence, Essence is a collection that has standard on the market 50% recycled content on total product weight. We have increased it to 70%. Most important about this one is that we use mechanical recycled polypropylene, but 1/3 of the shell is actually made from old suitcase shells. So we have collected over the past years via take-back actions in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany, old suitcases that customers could bring back. Then we have a social enterprise that is taking them apart, and they are reintegrated together with the other post-consumer recycled material by LyondellBasell. So we are very happy that we could actually close the loop for the shells here. That's important. And then looking further at all the details, this is already clear. This is not what you're going to share with the consumer, of course. This is way too much information. But important to know is that every single part where we have used recycled material is actually traced back to the raw material supplier, to the component supplier, and to Samsonite eventually. So we have the full traceability of each part. Then going to the second suitcase that we launched, here we went from 5% to 65% because this is one of our lightest suitcases that is also made with a special composite material using BOPP films. And there we could not really use mechanical recycled PP. So we went to another source. We evaluated with LyondellBasell the biocircular feedstock for this one. We also had to go through the ISCC Plus certification process for our Hungarian plant, just for the purpose of launching this limited edition, let's say. And also here, a bit similar, we have been looking at all the details. Every single part of the suitcase we checked, is there like a more sustainable material solution that could fit for this, but without compromising on the quality, of course. So in total, some key facts. In total, we are talking about 8,000 suitcases. The biggest part will be sold in Europe, but there's also about 2,000 suitcases that will be sold in Asia, and then a smaller part in the US. We involved 27 suppliers, so it was a lot of work to get them on board to provide us the 30 data points that we have put into the passport. But I think by explaining them the bigger picture of which they are part of, we managed to get them on board. But there's a tremendous amount of time of the whole team, both at Circularise, Samsonite, and LYB, that went into that, collecting all the data. You see, we managed to trace 100% of the raw materials, which is crucial because if we, as Samsonite, want to talk about these products, we need to be sure that we have all the data and the proof in the back end to make certain claims. So that is one of the goals of the project was definitely, we do so much, but we don't communicate about it because there is greenwashing risk and so on. But with this, we feel much more confident to make certain claims. So that's really important. We also wanted to build up experience. How much extra workload do we actually ask our suppliers if we impose this to them? That is important, and understand their feedback, give them time to get on board. So that's something that we also did. It's about testing the market on the digital product passport. Is our digital product passport today, is it perfect? Definitely not. It's a very good start. We found a bit a balance in which data we will share and which not. But it's also understanding, and the learning process is starting since we launched last week, that in which data consumers are mostly interested in. On which pages of the DPP will they stay? How long will they stay on it? This can be different from country to country. So it's going to give us insights in what is most valuable data for the consumer. I think the next is actually a video. Yes. So we will show you the journey of the essence and explain a bit the digital product passport. Enjoy.
Samsonite's sustainability mission reaches new heights. Introducing Essence Circular, featuring Samsonite's first ever digital product passport, revealing the suitcase manufacturing journey. All good things come to an end. But some journeys are just beginning. Your beloved suitcase gets a second life. Innovative process blends 35% recycled luggage shells with recycled post-consumer waste, reaching a total of at least 80% recycled materials in the outer shells. Designed, developed, and produced in Europe. Essence Circular is ready for the next journey. Each suitcase holds a digital product passport. By scanning the QR code, you obtain a detailed and transparent overview of the product's life cycle and extend the life of your suitcase with easy self-repair solutions. Samsonite innovate to move the world.
Thank you very much. So how does it work in practice? You scan indeed a QR code. Initially, we wanted to go immediately to the digital product passport, but we felt it became immediately too technical for the consumer. So that's why for this time, we placed in between like a landing page to explain what we are doing, more for the storytelling and the engagement with the consumer. Then from the landing page, you will go to the extensive digital product passport. And there we focused on really explaining, giving the consumer a deeper understanding on the full product life cycle. This means learning more about the impact. So what is the recycled content, for example? We also have information on the carbon footprint of the product in comparison with a product that is made from 100% virgin material. So we talk not about actual kilograms, but reduction. We also talk about the supply chain. So we give visibility how everything is coming together. And we also talk about extending the product lifetime. So there is information in the digital product passport on how to repair the product, for example, how you get access to spare parts to do self-repairability. And additionally, there is also an end-of-life instructions. So what you can do is that if after, let's say 10, 20 years maybe, you want to get rid of this suitcase, you can actually send it back to us and we will take care of it that the shells and the pull handle and so on are properly recycled. So that's also giving visibility on that. Oh, I had to push, it seems to show, but you will be able to explore yourself later. In terms of communication, what do? We have the landing page that you can also access through a Google search. We have social media posts together with our partners Circularise and LYB. We also have influencers, for example, that have started sharing pictures with us. So we try to reach a broad audience. We also send to 500,000 people newsletters, for example. So we try to reach a big audience, let's say. For us, what is most important, or why do we do this digital product passport, is Samsonite wants to actually lead the transformation of the luggage industry. So the digital product passport or the launch of this pilot is really in line with that. We are not pushed by regulations. We are just doing this to build up experience ourselves, and we see this as a differentiator from the competition, in fact, in the long run. Also, we believe it's really an opportunity to have real impact, because by providing a deeper understanding to consumers, we empower them to take better decisions, more responsible decisions. So we leave it in their hands. Also, we will gain further consumer insights by the digital product passport. As I explained, because of Google Analytics, on top of that, we will gather a lot of data. And this data can then be used in new product development, in building new business models, for example, and also in fine-tuning the way we communicate towards our consumers. Then I think we are at the key takeaways. So most important is maybe, I think that it takes time. You need to allow suppliers to learn also on working with the tool of Circularise, for example. Involve them early enough and give them time to build up their learning themselves. And another important thing, I think, is also that you have the digital product passport and you have the public digital product passport. And the public one should be very easy for the consumer to understand. It's good to have all the data, but don't throw all the data at the consumer. And that's something we will learn. It is possible that in certain regions, consumers are more interested in other data, so that will allow you to further fine-tune. I leave it to Mesbah for the last two takeaways.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, as you can read maybe here, the thing that we also learned is that within an organization, there are many different perspectives. And it's not a typical kind of innovation journey where you can be involved with like marketing and then that's kind of the bubble where it will be decided. You quickly have to move across an organization like legal, compliance, IT, and that requires some challenges, right? That's why it's not done overnight. All these perspectives are important. Trade risks, how do you engage with kind of disclosure rules, and so on and so forth. And not to forget that a lot of these suppliers are not close by, right? I think from the 27, more than half of them were in Asia, where there's language barriers, you gotta get, kind of handhold them. The good part is that once you do that, and they have kind of set up their structure, the next time is going to be like significantly easier, right? So that's kind of some of the learning points I wanted to give you today. And then also, of course, scan it yourself. Let's do a bit of a stress test, see if our systems can handle a room like this in one go. Go to the favorite of the two passports. They are very similar, but obviously a different product. Who here is looking for a suitcase? I think you can still buy one, but I'm not sure how long.
You need to be quick, always with these. That's why it's limited edition.
Yeah.
But please share your feedback, what you like about it, what not. It's very valuable for us.
There's one point that I wanted to show, just as you kind of pull it up on your phone. There is a button on the top right that says View Your Supply Chain. And from that button, you can actually tap into the supply chain of the polymer manufacturer, in this case LYB, etc. So make sure to kind of explore that as well, because it's not just like a flat final product information sheet. You can actually tap into that supply chain as kind of as deep as you want to, and those suppliers that want to be part of this journey can actually provide their own story and their own kind of attributes. So yeah, hopefully you can explore that a little bit and let us know what you guys think. Thank you.
So thanks very much to Mesbah and to Pauline. That was great. Come here into the middle. Don't let me block you, my goodness. And I do have a couple of questions that have come in here. Two of them are about price. First of all, congratulations on the launch of this. Limited edition, and if I understand correctly, it's almost impossible to get. So they've flown off the shelves. Is that correct?
You can still get them. It's not, you can still get them. But I think it will be like a month or something. Usually it's something like that.
Okay, so two of the questions here are about price. Obviously, have you priced these two suitcases at a comparable price point to suitcases that are not made with recycled material? And if not, why not?
Compared to the standard collection, the price we kept the same for the limited edition. So we do not ask, we went from 50 to 70%, and for the other from 5 to 65, but we do not increase the price compared with the standards. So we don't ask the premium as we heard.
You've kept the premium for yourselves. Okay, so that yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's a very interesting standpoint. Obviously, gaining experience as you go. How challenging has it been for you at Circularise to get sort of manufacturers on board with this kind of a DPP approach?
Yeah, as I mentioned, like there are kind of operational challenges, like how do you enter this data? How do you make sure that the data they have actually matches what we're looking for? So there are challenges around that. There are challenges around some trust, trade secrets, where suppliers might not feel comfortable, like what is going to happen with this data. I would say 80% of this is solved by just talking through all of the details and kind of hand-holding suppliers throughout that journey. This is not taking like 5 years, right? So maybe the timeline looked like we were working for a couple of years, but kind of getting these 27 suppliers on board, what it was like 6 to 9 months kind of time frame. As a first time, every time we do it, we're going to get faster at this. And then there's obviously the big kind of innovation of AI. Like how is that going to impact this, which we're kind of innovating right now on top of it, which from early science is extremely good, which means I would predict at least like a 10 to 100x increase in efficiency of gathering data from suppliers, just by harmonizing that data and making the communication smoother.
Okay, I can see that people are probably wondering, why didn't I get a Samsonite before coming to Bologna? I've got another question here. Do you see the DPP replacing individual product carbon footprints and life cycle assessments for the non-end user customers?
I don't think so. I think the way we look at DPP is more like a carrier of data, right?
Okay.
So that data can still be part of the DPP, but it's not like either one or the other.
It's not one or the other.
No, so I think most likely what we'll see is that DPP is almost like an empty shell that you can put existing data points into, such as the product carbon footprint.
Yeah, maybe to add to that, we are indeed asking our suppliers to share the life cycle assessment with us. That will stay in the digital product passport for Samsonite to look at internal use, but that will not be shared externally, of course.
Yeah, and a lot of the challenge is also configuring that. Like you have this full data sheet that might have 100 plus data points, or in this case 30, but how do you kind of configure that to saying, well, these points are the public ones that I want to make publicly available. These are the ones that we need to keep internal. And then there's also a bit of the suppliers themselves where they say, well, I receive, for example, an invoice from my supplier, but that's not necessarily something I'll share with my customer, right? So there's a lot of disclosure rules and configurations that you need to set up. But the good thing is it's a one-time thing, right? You don't need to constantly reiterate that.
Okay. A couple of questions here on the ISCC, because you said that this DPP is certified by the ISCC, and a question, would you use their logo? Or will you be using their logo?
Their logo is used in the digital product passport.
Is in the DPP.
Honestly, it's let's say with certifications, it's quite a challenge.
Yes,
that's our experience.
Indeed.
It's like a little bit messy, but we knew that if we wanted to talk about the biocircular material, we needed to have this certification. So yeah, but. The question is a little bit still, I think, what the value is for the consumer, because usually they do not know these certifications. So we have to explain them a little bit more in detail what this actually means, because you cannot really say, and that's also what internal discussions that we had, you cannot say the suitcase is made from this used cooking oil, but it's like an equivalent of that. And that's challenging to explain to an end user, honestly.
Indeed. We'll have ISCC in a session tomorrow, so I thought I'd bring those questions in there because they're in the room. Another question here, what trade-offs did you have to take into account when going to such a high percentage of recycled materials? Were there performance trade-offs or?
No, we never compromise on quality.
On performance?
Rather the opposite, I would say. I think when we do the standard testing of Samsonite, we look even more in detail if we use recycled materials. But our experience is that sometimes recycled materials can even outperform virgin, we have seen. So that's in fact our experience. So yeah, no compromises on quality.
And a question here about feedback. Have you had, how much, or have you had any positive feedback from the market, the final customers obviously on this specific new label and new product?
It's of course only a week, so the
It's
first week people
new.
are usually very positive, I would say. Maybe other feedback is coming later, but in general, no, the feedback is very positive on this.
And we actually didn't get a price. Are these more expensive than the non-recycled? Oh no, they
No.
are. They
Same
stayed the
price.
same. They stayed
Same
the same.
price,
That was
yeah.
it. Okay. I think I've managed to go through most of these questions here, so I'm going to let the two of you go. Thank you so much for such an interesting case study and for really putting that out there. And all the best in your continued collaborations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pauline Koslowski and Mesbah Sabur.